Lesson 6, the use of sequences and selection. Let's start by looking at sequences. Here's a sequence here, presented as a flow chart, and we have two inputs, two variables, name and age, and we're inputting information about them there, and we have an output statement which includes the two variables. As you can see, this is presented as a sequence of instructions here, which starts at the beginning and works its way through the program. Here's the same program in Python. So we have two variables, name and age, and we're inputting information there. And then finally we've got a statement where we're actually showing the variables as part of an output. Now, if we run the program here, it will ask for a name, and it will ask for an age. And it gives us a final output statement there. So as you can see, this particular program here is a sequence where you've got the first step followed by the second step followed by the third step. Now let's take a look at selection. You can see here we have another flowchart. In this particular case we have a choice, a condition, and the condition in the middle of the program says if the age is greater or equal to 17 we do a particular thing. So we've got a choice here of two things to do. If it's true, then we move to the output statement at the bottom where you can learn to drive, and if it's false you go to the other output statement, you cannot learn to drive. So basically selection is a condition where you select one choice or another choice. Let's look at selection using a simple if statement. In Python we use if to make the selection. So we're inputting information here about the age. We're following up with an if statement there. If the age is greater or equal to 17, then you can learn to drive. So let's just see that in action. This is a very simple if statement. So if you run it here and run the module here, if we say the person is 18, it says you can learn to drive. Notice here that when we use the if here, at the end of it we have a colon, and basically the program automatically indents the line below because that's inside the if. So if I just press enter here, it always automatically moves the statement there, the print statement, so that it's inside the if there when there's a colon. So just be aware that you must use the indentation when you're using if. Let's look at selection using if then else. Quite often when you've got an if statement, there is a choice between the statement being true, the condition being true, or the condition being false, as shown here in this particular flowchart. In Python we use the if and the else. So if the age is greater or equal to 17, then you get the first output statement, and if it's not, if it's else, you get the second output statement. Let's see the program in action. So if we go to run and run module, if I say the person's age is 18, it tells me that they can learn to drive. If I then try again, this time I'm going to run the program again, but put a lower age, say 15, and we find this time they cannot learn to drive. Selection can also use an if and an elif. If you've got condition 1, for example, which is true, you do code 1. Else if, or as it's called in Python, elif, condition 2 is true, you do code 2. Or finally, else you do code 3. So you basically can have as many elifs as you want in a particular program. Here we can see the elif in action. So here in this particular program we have a variable called test mark, and the person enters their test mark, and it then tells them if they got greater than 80 or equal to 80, then they got a grade A. If they achieved more than 60, or between 60 and 80, they get a grade B. If they achieved more than 40, they would get a grade C. And finally, if they didn't achieve 40, they would fail the test. So let's just see that program. Let's run the program. Enter a test mark, so let's say 89, and the person gets a grade A. Let's try again. This time, let's enter 68 and the person achieves a grade B, and let's try another one. The person now gets 45 and they get a grade C, and finally the person hasn't done quite so well and they've achieved a mark of 29, and in this case they've not passed the test. Finally, let's look at nested if statements. So a nested if is one if statement which is actually nested inside another if statement. As you can see with this program here, we have one if over here and we have another if nested inside it. So the program is asking how much is the car you want to buy. And basically, if the car is greater or equal to £20,000, then you do get a discount. But only if you have the discount code. So the code is Xmas here. So that's why we have the extra if in the middle here. So basically you need to have a price more than 20,000 and you need the code to be able to get the discount on the car there. If you have the car which is more than 20,000 but you don't have the discount code, it won't let you actually get a discount. Let's run this program to see what happens. And if we put £21,000 here for the car, we can see what is a discount code, and I'm going to type in the correct discount code this time, and it tells us that the car costs 5% less because we've used a discount code. We can now run the program again, and this time if we decide to buy a car that's £19,000, it says, sorry, the car needs to be 20,000 to get a discount. So obviously we don't get the discount in that particular case. Let's just run the program again. This time we're going to buy a car for 21,000, but we don't know the discount code. So we're going to put in a code here, 1234, and it tells us that the discount code is not valid, so the car still costs £21,000. So it can be useful sometimes to have an if nested inside another if in some circumstances.